is hard.
Oh, you messed me up. I'm mixing my color. Okay,
It's all your fault.
that's why I didn't mix that right.
That's right.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, let's see, I need a clip. So I'm working with canvas paper. If anybody needs any canvas paper, we have more canvas paper right here. I like to use canvas paper in classes because one of the reasons is because it keeps me from having like getting precious about this, all right? So while we're working, throw that out the window, all right? See that sign up there? Suck to succeed, fail better. This is your chance to suck, all right? And be accepting of the suck, all right? Of the fail, all right? Speaking of which, I'm not gonna get very far without a brush. And some paper towels.
You want some here?
I got some paper towels on the side.
I brought a brand new roll.
Okay.
Two left.
Let's see, if you want to get to a spot where you can see what I'm doing, that would be great. I need more paint on my palette. So even though I have mixed the palette, I'm not confident that I will have enough paint on the palette. So I always have enough in my reserve pile so that I can replenish the paint on the palette. So make sure, it's really helpful if you have big piles of paint. Tiny piles, I think are so wasteful. Does that make sense?
The worst case scenario is he's probably, if he did nothing with this and let it dry, he's probably throwing away about like $3.16 worth of paint.
Yeah.
Give or take a penny.
All right. Can you see okay? All right. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do is first thing I'm going to do is maybe, I don't know if I want to use this whole piece of paper for this, so I might just divide this in half so I get more practice off a piece of paper. Let's see, would you? Okay, good. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is kind of frame this with the Painter's Gang sign, okay? Like this. Like that. Painter's Gang sign, okay, so I'm envisioning these edges and then how does this fit? So this is the beginning of composing your painting, all right? If you don't do that, you might do like a little tiny painting here. You wanna fill up the space compositionally, and we'll talk about composition later, but right now, we're just going to, so the way I looked at this, okay, that's going to be there. And I'm just drawing the shapes, little geometric shapes. So this is going to be those two cups.
Chris, am I right in seeing that it looks like you were painting through and over things with no fear of having to go over it again later?
I'm not scared. And that's gonna go off the page. That's okay. That's all right. And then, so just the relative size and shape and proportions of the elements in the piece. We want to get away from thinking of the elements in the piece as objects and start looking at them as shapes. One of the things that I try to do is flatten everything because this is a two-dimensional surface, so we can start thinking of that as two-dimensional objects, and in that way we're seeing everything is right next to everything else. Nothing is in front, nothing is behind. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is kind of squint, and I'm going to look for a light and dark shape.
And, are you using straight?
Yes, a
Burnt
straight burnt
sienna.
sienna, straight, because I haven't given it anything to drink yet. All right, so that is, so I'm looking for a light and dark shape. And then next, I will divide the shape. So this step of the painting process should be light and loose, but not thinned. Like, so what I mean by that is your paint should not be running. Should not be running. Is your paint running? Better go catch it. All right, so now I'll be painting here. I know there's going to be variations here, so I'm just starting off with the relative average. So you see that is one shape and then two shapes there. So it's not a jug. I've reduced it to this weird shape and that weird shape. Do y'all see that? Okay, good. This seems to have some black in it, so I'm just going to find that dark shape there.
And when you say black, are you thinking temperature?
Yeah. It's cool, has some cool and warm.
The apples?
Yeah, the apple's cooler than this, right?
You said this, but I don't know what this is.
The mug.
That is
The
the
orange
mug.
mug?
Yeah,
The apple's cooler than the orange mug?
it is.
Huh.
Do you mean light?
No, I think it's cooler than this.
Right, but do
Yeah.
you
You're
mean
thinking
the
two different
coolness
temperature,
is
right?
Yeah.
the light cast on the red of the orange is what makes it cool in your interpretation on the paper?
What makes it cool is that it's a relative term.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That the apple,
is-
think of the apple as like sitting on the counter lukewarm and the mug is kind of in the oven. So it's a
So
hotter.
I can imagine
it's
that,
a hotter-
but it
it's
still
a-
doesn't make sense.
And what you had painted was the shadow of the apple.
yeah, that's why I painted the shadow of the
Yeah,
apple
which
there.
is more of a purplish, cooler
Mhm.
temperature than the
Mm.
orange is a
Yeah.
warm.
I don't know everything, okay?
But you're the teacher.
Yeah. Be careful of teachers who know everything.
You've had some of those, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
UCCS.
All right,
for instance?
so you see how I separate those two mugs?
Yeah.
All right,
And how you have not a white mug, that's a white mug.
that's not a white mug. So
That's right.
this is darker than the yellow mug, the orange mug, and the light. And we'll talk about this later, but the lightest light will be, the darkest light will be lighter than the darkest.
And the lightest dark.
Lightest dark. Thank you.
We're visual instructors.
Yeah. All right, so this isn't really white here. I went into this mixture because it seemed to make sense.
It looks kind of creamy from back here.
It's creamy.
Well, you decided that the light on the non-white mug, you
Mhm.
decided is warm.
Yes.
Because you didn't go down to this row, you went to the middle row.
Yes. It's warmer than, well, up here when I get to this rim, I'll probably go into here.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I find it so hard to see that.
yeah, and
That
I
temperature thing.
think part of it is just seeing it and not trying to like define it intellectually. That's a big one. All right, so you kind of see this is all shape driven.
Can everybody agree that the color of this light bulb has this kind of yellowish, orangish tone to it?
Yes.
If I put my hand here in shadow and then I bounce this color into it, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
He is deciding these lights are warmish because the light is warmish. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
It's not simply
Mhm.
warmish
It's-
because it's on the spectrum.
It's
of
not because he
warmish.
feels like it. Yeah, it's not because he feels like it, or it's yeah. That light bulb has a warm, literal radiation off of it.
All right, so I'm doing shapes here. There's that shape, there's this shape. So rather than thinking as a mug, there's a light shape and a darker shape. And then there's a shape in here. I'm gonna paint that shape separate. Nice. Okay. And then I need to fill this shape in, don't I? Ooh. Oh well. Scrub it. So, a couple of things on brush technique. When you're scrubbing, I usually use the tips of the brush. And then when I'm putting in more deliberate brush strokes, I use the side of the brush. And this is going to be very light. I think, yeah, there we go. Especially the flat surface, that's going to be the lightest because it is receiving direct light, direct rays of light. Where the other objects might be getting angles of light at a different, more obliquely. Oh, there's another big word. Amazingness.
When it looks like just by focusing on value and then sort of leaning things towards temperature, I mean, what, 80% of the painting's already basically here?
Yeah. So, using the side of the brush rather than the tip of the brush to spread the paint on. And also just letting the paint come off, like nice and thick. When you're painting on top of wet paint, make sure your paint is thicker than the paint that's on the surface. All right, now there are little areas in here I can deal with. That might be there. Again, just thinking about flat, two-dimensional shapes. And then another thing is when you put the wet paint on top of wet paint, try to lay that wet paint on top. So the way I do that is by, like I said, using the flat brush, getting a good amount of paint on the end of the brush. There's a good amount of paint on there. And painting more like I'm spreading frosting. I remember when I was a kid, my mom would make cakes, and I'd be so disappointed because it didn't look like the commercial. Because then you know how they had these little cool peaks and waves, and my mom would be like, "Mom, that's not." Oh yeah, so right here, this is really cool right here. Okay. And that's pretty much all you gotta do.
Just that?
Just that, it's just, yeah. Any questions at all about painting? I mean, there's other stuff I can do. There's this thing. So let's just keep it simple as you can. All right. Don't try to get too detailed. Keep it simple.